Hello everyone and welcome into Coach Craig's Sports. This is the NBA DFS Core Pick video for today, Monday, March 11th. If you're joining me for the very first time, first of all, welcome in. Second of all, this is how today's video will be structured. We will not be having a recap since it's been since Friday since we had a Core Pick video. We're just going to go over the injuries in play for tonight's 6-game main slate, and then we'll get over to DraftKings and FanDuel and talk about my core picks on each site. So it's going to be one player at each position, so point guard, shooting guard, small forward, power forward, and center. But without further ado, we'll get into that injury report for today. So once again, 6-game main slate on both sites. Only one team on a back-to-back today, and that is going to be the Cleveland Cavaliers. So we won't talk too much about them. We'll see what their injury report looks like as the day moves along. But we're going to start off with the Charlotte Hornets, who are without LaMelo Ball, Seth Curry, Cody Martin, Bryce McGowan, and Mark Williams. So Bryce McGowan is kind of the newest one since we highlighted this team. And then we got Trey Mann listed as doubtful, so he's unlikely to play once again tonight. So probably seeing the same starting five that we've seen the last couple of games for the Charlotte Hornets team overall. Maybe a little bit of value on this team overall today as well. On the Detroit Pistons side, we got Quentin Grimes listed as probable due to a knee injury, so they appear to be all the way healthy at this point in time. Then we move over to the Phoenix Suns, who have Eric Gordon, Damon Lee, Nazir Little, and Josh Okogie all listed as out. And then Devin Booker listed as probable to play tonight, coming off that ankle injury. So they are relatively healthy at this point in time. Obviously, the guys that are missing for them tonight, more role players than anything. So nothing too major to take away from this Phoenix Suns team just in general. Once again, Cleveland Cavaliers on the back-to-back, so we'll see what their injury report looks like as the day moves along. Dallas Mavericks appear to be all the way healthy at this point in time. And then the Chicago Bulls have Torrey Craig listed as questionable tonight. He does have the green next to him, which usually indicates probable. But if you read further into it, he is questionable. And, he's a guy that's been kind of banged up for them for a good part of this season. Then we move down to the Golden State Warriors. Steph Curry is out once again, so Chris Paul should be in that starting lineup. And then we got Moses Moody and Draymond Green. Both this is probable to play tonight. Draymond Green is kind of dealing with a little bit of back soreness, so probably not a guy we're getting to for DFS purposes. And then on the San Antonio Spurs side, we got Cedi Osman listed as out once again. Devin Vassell listed as probable to play for tonight's game. Then we move over to the Toronto Raptors, who have Scotty Barnes, Jakob Poeltl both out once again. And then we got DJ Carton, Bruce Brown Jr., RJ Barrett, and Chris Boucher all listed as questionable for tonight. Chris Boucher, if he ends up playing, he's been playing pretty well as of late. He's dealing with, I believe, a knee injury. RJ Barrett's an illness, and then Bruce Brown's been also dealing with a knee injury as well. And then Carton really hasn't played for this team too much this season, so not too much to write home about for him. And then on the opposite side for the Denver Nuggets, just Cam Carr out once again, who's been out all season with that ACL injury. For the final game of the night, potentially one of the biggest value spots on the Boston Celtics, but unfortunately it is the late game of the night. So we got Sheev Mikhailiuk and Kristaps Porzingis both listed as out. And then the four regular starters for the Boston Celtics, Jaylen Brown, Jrue Holiday, Jason Tatum, and Derek White all listed as questionable to play tonight. Obviously, if one of them misses, if a couple of them start missing, then we have a good value spot here on this Boston team overall, but kind of unfortunately, it is the final game of the night. And then on the Portland Trailblazers side, we got Malcolm Brogdon, Shane Sharp, and Jabari Walker all listed as out. And then Justin Minaya dealing with an illness listed as questionable play, not really in the rotation either way. And Jeremy Grant dealing with that hamstring strain once again. He's missed their two most recent games. So we'll see whether or not he plays tonight or not. Could open up a little bit of value here. Probably just Chris Murray or Matisse Thybulle getting the start in his place if he's unable to go. And Delano Banton's actually played really well for them as late with getting some bigger minutes just in general. So pretty interesting Portland team overall. So there's a little bit of value potentially in this late night hammer, whether it's on the Portland Trailblazers side or the Boston Celtics side once again. But unfortunately, we're probably not going to get that news till pretty late in the day. But with that being said, that's a quick little rundown on all the injuries in play for tonight's slate overall. As always, I'll be posting all the injury updates down in the comments below, as well as the starting lineups as they do get announced throughout the night. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to DraftKings and talk about my core picks over there. So at the point guard spot on DraftKings, we're going to go with Chris Paul here. He's $6,900. Looking for 34, 35 out of him. Going against the San Antonio Spurs tonight, it's a pretty attractive pace-up spot just in general. Point guards have done pretty well versus the San Antonio Spurs as of late. Then factor in Chris Paul will be in that starting lineup. Once again, with no Steph Curry out, he's played pretty well in their most recent game, so we'll see if that trend continues. Currently, I'm projected for about 36 fantasy points on DraftKings tonight. Might have a little bit of upside for more, might have a little bit of downside for less, but he's pretty safe play. And if he's getting 30 minutes tonight, he's going to look really good overall. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go with Delano Banton for the Portland Trailblazers, $5,100. Looking for 25, 26 out. He's played really well as of late. Currently, I'm projected for about 28 tonight. In these games that he's gotten decent-sized minutes, he's been playing really well. A little bit of a revenge game spot here, too, as well, since he was on the Boston Celtics earlier this season. So if that's something you're into, feel free to write home about that any way you want. But like I said, I am currently projected for about 28 fantasy points tonight. Then small forward, we're going to go with Alex Caruso, $5,300. Looking for 26, 27 at him. And he's going against the Dallas Mavericks tonight. Should be a decent matchup for him. Maybe a little bit of slower pace matchup in this game. Two teams that don't play at the quickest pace. But Caruso should be playing a ton of minutes once again tonight. Easily outperforming this price tag more times than not. Do currently have him projected for about 28 fantasy points tonight as well. And that kind of seems to be the theme of this, that 28 number. As we get down to Al Horford, $5,400, looking for 27 at him. Currently, I'm projected for 28 tonight. Has some pretty strong upside for more against Portland Trailblazers tonight. Should be that starting center for the Boston Celtics. Once again, they're on the front end of a back-to-back, so all those other starters listed as questionable. Maybe if all those other guys start missing tonight, then maybe Al Horford rest as well, since they have that back-to-back game tomorrow, and then they could use him tomorrow. Or, he plays tonight with some of the backup players, and then they rest the other starters. Then he ultimately ends up resting tomorrow night. We'll see how that kind of unfolds. If some of these other starters do ultimately end up missing and Al Horford plays, though, that should give him a little bit of boost for tonight's matchup overall. Like I said already, $5,400. Currently have him projected for 28 fantasy points tonight. Definitely does have some pretty strong upside for more. The games recently that he's gotten more minutes, he's played really well, so definitely do like him quite a bit tonight. And then at center, we got Nick Richards for the Charlotte Hornets, $5,700, looking for 28, 29 out of him. Going against the Detroit Pistons tonight, looks like a pretty attractive matchup. He has played really well in his two most recent games, so kind of expect that trend to continue once again tonight. Not losing as many minutes to Grant Williams when he's starting alongside him. Obviously, against the Detroit Pistons, they're going to go big, so both these guys should be out there quite a bit tonight, and do currently have Nick Richards projected for about 30 fantasy points tonight. But with that being said, if you go with these five players that I do currently have listed here, you have $21,600 remaining, $7,200 per player. So a little bit of room and flexibility to be had there, whether you're trying to build a little bit of a balanced build, whether you're trying to pay up at a couple different spots and then pay down for your final spot. A lot of different ways that we can approach tonight's slate overall. If you want to play Nikola Jokic at that center position, feel free to do so as well. I kind of played Jamal Murray a little bit in my core picks, kind of at point guard, but Chris Paul just did stand out today in general. But a lot of different ways that we can approach tonight's slate overall. But with that being said, we'll get moved over to FanDuel and talk about my core picks over there as well. So on the FanDuel side, at the point guard position, we're going to go with Chris Paul, $7,000. Pretty similar story to DraftKings. We're looking for 35 out of him. There's no Steph Curry tonight. A really attractive matchup, a pace-up spot versus the San Antonio Spurs tonight. It is a team that has been giving up some fantasy points to point guards in recent games, so definitely do like Chris Paul tonight. If he goes out there, he plays 30 minutes, has some pretty decent upside at the same time as well. Currently, I'm projected for about 36 fantasy points on the FanDuel side tonight. Then at shooting guard, we're going to go to Alex Caruso once again, so $5,900. Looking for 29, 30 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for 29 tonight. Didn't really love anybody at the shooting guard position today. Obviously, it's FanDuel. We got to play two of them. So probably mixing and matching a little bit the rest of the way from here. But at the same time, we'll see what news does ultimately end up popping up throughout the day. Maybe it opens up a value. Alex Caruso could turn into somebody else for the core picks as the day moves along. But at the same time, obviously, we got to start two here. So Alex Caruso is probably going to be one of them, and then kind of somebody else that pops up as a value throughout the day. I do like the minutes upside that he does have just in general, and then obviously the steal and block upside that he does get that extra point for on FanDuel overall. Then in small forward, we're going to go Brandon Miller here, $7,000. No Trey Mann out there, a little bit of a usage bump. There's not too much to go around for the Charlotte Hornets team. You got the starting five is what it is at this point in time. Should be pretty solid minutes for Brandon Miller. It's a good matchup versus the Detroit Pistons as well. Looking for 35 out of him. Currently, I'm projected for about 37 tonight. Has a little bit of upside for more, but does come with some downside for less at the same time as well. Then at power forward, we're going with his teammate in Grant Williams, $5,000. Looking for 25 out of him. Should be in that starting lineup once again. It's that double big matchup versus the Detroit Pistons tonight. So do like him quite a bit here. If his scoring gets going just a little bit, if he gets a couple extra defensive stats tonight, could easily outperform this price tag. And, once again, we're looking for 25 out of him. Recently, he's been getting about 24. I think he gets you 26, 27 tonight. It looks like a pretty solid option at this power forward spot. And then last but not least, we're going to center Al Horford, $5,600. Looking for 28 out. Currently, I'm projected for 28, 29 on the FanDuel side tonight. No Kristaps Porzingis. Should be in that starting lineup. Once again, keep an eye out just to make sure that he doesn't get ruled out if some of the other starters do, and they kind of rest everybody today and then play the starters tomorrow. But we'll see what that looks like as the day moves along. I do like Al Horford quite a bit tonight, and then if some of those starters ultimately do end up missing and he ends up playing, could be a little bit bigger boost for him overall. But with that being said, if you go with these 5 players that I do currently have listed here, you have $29,500 remaining, just under $7,400 per player remaining. So a good amount of money left over. Probably could pay up for a couple players if that's something you want to do. Pay down at a couple other spots. It'd be a really interesting slate to see what happens as the day moves along if we do get some other value that does open up throughout the day. But with that being said, these are my core picks for both FanDuel and DraftKings for today, March 11th. As always, if you have any questions related to NBA DFS, be sure to drop them down in the comments below. I do ask that you please note whether those questions are more FanDuel or DraftKings specific, just so I can best help you as quickly and efficiently as possible. And then as always, I'll be listing all the injury updates down in the comments below, as well as the starting lineups as they do get announced throughout the night. And then last but not least, my updated core will be posted down there as well as a pinned comment about 15 to 20 minutes prior to lock. If there's any other additional changes after that point in time, I will leave them as a reply to that pinned comment as well. But with that being said, if you are checking out my channel for the very first time or have yet to subscribe, please consider doing so. Definitely would appreciate it. Helps to build the community that we're trying to build here at Coach Craig Sports, which is one that's truly for you, the viewers, helping you with your DFS. Right now we have NBA DFS videos going on Monday through Friday in terms of the core pick videos. And then coming up at the end of the month, we'll be doing some MLB DFS and some UFL DFS. So if that's something you're into, definitely be sure to check that out. If it's something you haven't tried before, you want to learn a little bit more about that, definitely be sure to check that out as well. Would definitely welcome that support. And then if you have any questions related to that as well, feel free to drop those questions in those videos, and I'd be more than happy to help you with both those as well. And then last but not least, if you're interested in sports betting, if you're interested in prop betting whatsoever, be sure to check out the links and promo codes down in the description below for Prize Picks, Parlay Play, and BetUS. If you are a brand new user to any one of those 3 sites, when you first sign up, you make your initial deposit, you will get a first match deposit bonus. For Prize Picks and Parlay Play, it's a 100% match up to $100, and then for BetUS, it's a 125% match up to $2,500. So some pretty great opportunities to be had out there. If you have any other additional questions related to that whatsoever, feel free to reach out to me, whether it's down in the comments or on Twitter at Coach Craig Sport, and be more than happy to help you with that journey as well. But with that being said, that's all that I truly have for today's video. Definitely do appreciate each and every one of you tuning in. Definitely means a lot to me. I hope that each and every one of you have a great rest of your day and some pretty good luck in NBA DFS tonight.